country is Texas. And just to set the record straight, George Bush isn't actually from Texas. He has a ranch in Texas. He's from Vermont. He belongs to y'all. Okay? All right. So true stories. I feel like a true story is something that actually happened, but I feel like there's more truth to a true story if it tends to happen to a lot of people. And I'm one of these people who always lives like, it ain't about me, it's the bigger picture, a way I am not accountable for anything I actually do. So, truth. I think that the strange coincidences are when we're like living our life and all of a sudden we're like, wait, you too, you too, and it tends to happen to me in groups of girls after lots of wine or beer. Okay, so I'm going to tell you true stories. They aren't all necessarily mine. They're all from my connections to other people, but they're all true stories. First is my girlfriend, and she's a single mother, and hooked up with this guy, kind of was doing her backpacking, traveling around the world thing. So gets pregnant, comes home. The guy's supposed to fly home. He doesn't fly home. Instead, he empties her bank account while she has a baby in her belly. So she's here. We're sitting at her table one night, and she's like kind of dependent on her parents' help or whatever. She has to deal with all their drama for that reason, and then also has like all the own drama of being a single mother. So we're sitting at her table one night, like having a smoke and drinking a beer, or whiskey really, but beer sounds better. And she's like listening to the little one cry in the background, and I'm like, let him cry, girl, let him cry, because she gets stressed out and she's like yelling at him. I'm like, just let it be. We're sitting there talking about another girlfriend of ours who's been in this funk, has like all of these family ties and all of this drama and all of this that's everybody else's, is coming out of depression. She's like, girl, I'm going out, I'm getting me a push-up bra, it's hunting season. And so we're talking about her, and I'm like, you need to go, it needs to be hunting season for us. It's like almost Halloween. We're like, what are we gonna be? Maybe we should all be hunters, like put on the little flaps, do our thing. So while we're sitting there, like I'm seeing her getting stressed out by the whole story, the idea of sex, the idea of anything, and all of a sudden, like, she's got a washer and dryer that's in her kitchen, and while we're sitting there having our drink, all of a sudden like the washer hits spin cycle, and I'm like, girl, how can you relax? You just gotta like let some tension go. Yoga, not yoga, let's do something else. And so right then we feel the spin cycle just like start to vibrate the entire floor in the kitchen, and we're sitting in these wooden chairs, and we both like kind of stop talking for a second, and we take a pull on our drink, and then I was just like, we sat there for a few minutes not saying anything, and then I was like, this is how you need to end every night, girl. Right in here. Okay, so I have another girlfriend that this is like, I just came from a long separation, and I've been like talking about my sexual liberation. Like, I'm a single mom, but I'm still young and hot. I'm gonna reinvent myself, all this. And so I get in a conversation with another girlfriend, my dearest friend, and she tells me a story. You know, like after you've been friends a long time, you've heard all the stories. Well, I hadn't heard this one. And she tells me, she's like, growing up, was like 13, a waitress, helping support her mom, who's like tall, thin Texas woman with the big hair, has got a little brother that's like 13 or 14 with like a scar on his face, smokes blunts, is like always cussing. Anyway, she's like playing mother, has got like the network of people all around her that she's responsible for at like 13 or 14. So she tells me on her bus rides home, which is Texas, so it's like gravel roads or whatever, that no one would ever sit in the back. She had like 4 rows to herself in the back of the bus, and she would just lay back there. And I was like, why didn't anybody come back? She's like, they were a little scared of me, whatever. I was like, why? She's like, I used to wear really tight jeans, and then I would just lay on the seat with my legs out in the aisle and just let the gravel road do the work. And she's like always a little rowdy. Like if she'd fall asleep or something before you and you're making noise, she'd be like, shut the up. So we like always kind of joked that she was the beast, and so when I hear this story, I'm just dying. I'm like, she's the masturbating beast, you know? This is what it is that she's done. So I've been like very much like all of these women, like the spider in the middle of the web, like holding all of these strings, and the people in my life aren't just like sitting still, they're just like, you know, so you're just like, okay, you know, trying to manage all of these other people's lives, all of this shit as a woman, and you know, you want to have sex with somebody, but you're afraid you might bite their head off afterwards or something, And so I was thinking, you know, like, something's gotta happen in me. I'm like buying my first pair of matching bra and panties, like looking at myself walking around, like listening to Nina Simone. I need a little sugar in my bowl, like trying to reinvent and do all of that. But I was like, you know, that's what all of us women really need that have got all these people's that we're dealing with, is just to let that masturbating beast out a little bit, you know, like just throw two hands up against the window, do what you gotta do, you know. That's